Welcome to the class. Let's chant the prayer. Somagyanatimirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshuruntam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rūpa Tada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rūpam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathamritam Tam Sajivam Sadhavaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishankanitanascha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti-vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Manchakalpatarurvyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome to studying Nectar of Devotion. We'll start chapter 15 today, a new chapter. Indeed, a very, very interesting subject matter it was. Where we come to know in detail about Raganuga Bhakti. So let's first hear from you. What do you understand by Raganuga Bhakti so far from what we have heard or read before? What is Raganuga Bhakti? Yes, anyhow. Madhumati Mataji. Anything?
Dandvat pranam to you. I'm a little confused right now, but I think it is more the love for the form. Am I right? No, sorry.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Raganuga Bhakti, like I mentioned at the start of the Nectar of Devotion, it consists of the spontaneous devotional service, whereas Vaidhi Bhakti was the other one. But when we do Vaidhi Bhakti continuously, properly, for us at least, I am saying that we'll get some sort of feeling of Raganuga Bhakti where we would like to do additional devotional service just spontaneously.
Spontaneously. So what is meant by spontaneously? What is meant by spontaneously?
So, spontaneously in the sense, without any specific reason for doing anything, like we want to do it for Krishna, that's the only goal.
Okay.
Prabhuji,
We can't say without any specific reason. There is a reason.
there's a lot of love and emotion involved.
But there is a lot of love and devotion involved. Okay. But there is A lot of attraction for Krishna, a lot of, strong attraction for Krishna. And out of that strong attraction, one wants to serve Krishna. Yes, Rashmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhammaparam. Prabhuji, it is the following the path of gopis in Vrindavana. That bhav, if we have, and spontaneous service of Krishna and attraction for Krishna, as you mentioned. That is Raganuga. That's what I read in Nectar of Instruction.
Okay. What else? Priyatana Garangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So initially when we start with sadhana, there are a lot of rules and regulations which we have to follow. It's not spontaneous, but with Raganuga Bhakti, it comes in spontaneous and new. Like we don't have to take these extra efforts.
Any other thought? Sudhir Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Just to add to what Dayal Govinda Prabhu mentioned, Anuga means to follow, and Raga, if I get the meaning of the word correctly, is attachment. So it is like following in the footsteps of, as someone else mentioned, in the footsteps of the gopis with natural love and attraction for Krishna.
Okay. Fine. All right. Good. So far, so good. Is it also a type of sadhana bhakti? No,
Yes, Prabhuji.
it is also sadhana. Fine. So it is a devotional practice that strives to cultivate the moods of Krishna's associates in Vrindavanam. Right? Hmm? So before we understand what is the mood of what is Raganuga sadhana, we need to understand what is the mood of devotional attachment found in Vrindavan's residence. Right? Therefore, Prabhupada is going to speak about that. So we'll read first from Prabhupada's explanation, and then we will dive into some verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Okay. So let's read this first paragraph. Examples of spontaneous devotional service can easily be seen in Krishna's direct associates in Vrindavan. The spontaneous dealings of the residents of Vrindavan in relationship with Krishna, are called Raga Nuga. In relationship with Krishna are called Raga Nuga. These beings don't have to learn anything about devotional service. They are already perfect in all regulated principles and have achieved the spontaneous loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now here there is a technical glitch. What is that? If you refer to Chaitanya Charitamrita, there you find that the exact word given is not Raga Nuga for what Prabhupada is describing here, but it is Ragatmika. What it is? Ragatmika. So here, dash, they are called dash, right? Here Prabhupada has written Raganuga, but actually it should be Ragatmika. We'll come to that later. Now, for example, the cowherd boys who are playing with Krishna do not have to learn by austerities or penances or yogic practice how to play with him. They have passed all tests of regulative principles in their previous lives, and as a result, they are now elevated to the position of direct association with Krishna as his dear friends. Their spontaneous attitude is called Raganuga Bhakti. But actually, it's not Raganuga Bhakti. Technically, it is called Ragatmika Bhakti. What is it called? Ragatmika Bhakti, not Raganuga Bhakti. So, There are two terms. One is Ragatmika and the other is Raga Nuga. Hmm? If you just divide the word Ragatmika into two parts, it becomes Rag and Atmika. Correct? Rag means what? Rag means deep attachment. It's like a color on the heart. A color on the heart symbolically means the heart is imbued with, or the heart is absorbed in certain kind of feeling. That feeling is called rag. Rag means you are attracted towards someone, and that attraction in the heart is called rag. Fine. So raga atmika, those whose soul or whose very heart is full of rag for Krishna are called ragatmika. Understood? Okay, this is a very simple definition. Now, those who follow in the footsteps of these ragatmika bhaktas, they are called raganugas. Okay, anuga means to follow. So, following in the footsteps of ragatmika bhaktas is called are called raganuga bhaktas. So, what is raganuga bhakti? Technically, the bhakti which is done following in the footsteps of the ragatmika bhaktas is called raganuga bhakti. Okay. Now, who are these ragatmika bhaktas? Very clear from this paragraph. Eternal residents of Sri Vrindavan Dham, which include the gopis, the gopas, our boyfriends of Krishna, the parents of Krishna, right? Isn't it? Correct? So all of them are included. They are all ragatmikas. So ragatmika means those who are sadhakas or those who are perfect. Ragatmika.
Perfect.
Perfect. Ragatmika means perfect, which means they are at the stage of what? They are at the stage of bhav, prem, or lower.
Prema, Prabhu?
Prem. Correct? They are perfect. Raganugas are following in their footsteps. So they're called Raganugas. Understood? This is very clear, right? Isn't it? Very clear. So, what we shall do is, let's look at a verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. We'll look at 3 verses. You can note down those verses. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22 chapter, verse 150, 154, sorry, 150, 152, and 154. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 22, text number 50. Okay.
Sorry, Prabhuji, the text number?
150. See here on the screen. इष्टे स्वारसिकी रागः परमाविष्टता भवेत् तन्मय्या भवेत् भक्तिः सात्र रागात्मिकोदिता. When one becomes attached to the Supreme Personality of God according to one's natural inclination to love Him and is fully absorbed in thoughts of the Lord, that state is called transcendental attachment. And devotional service according to that attachment is called Ragatmika or spontaneous devotional service. Fine. This is a definition for Ragatmika Bhakti. Right? Okay. Now another verse describing Ragatmika. 152. रागमयी भक्तिर होय रागात्मिका नाम ताहा सुनि लुप्त होय कौन भाग्यवान. Thus, devotional service which consists of rag. Now, what is the exact meaning of the word rag? Rūpa translates it as deep attachment. It's called ragatmika, spontaneous loving service. If a devotee covets such a position, he is considered to be most fortunate. Understood? Okay.
I have a question, please.
What is that?
If Ragatmika, you mentioned there's sadhakas who are on the path of prema. So even
They are not sadhakas,
Raganugas,
Mataji. You can't call those on the path of platform of prema as sadhakas, right? Sadhaka
even
means someone who is practicing. That is called sadhaka, isn't it? Sadhaka means someone who is practicing. When someone is at the level of prema, then you call that person siddha, perfect. Is that okay?
yes,
Prabhuji, except for the residents of Vrindavan, is there any devotees? I mean, do we have examples of devotees who are Ragatmika devotees?
What a question. Okay, so we already mentioned all the gopis, gopas, coward boyfriends, parents of Krishna. So take so many names: Nanda Baba, Yashoda, Lalita Sakhi, Vishasakhi, Rūpa Manjari. All of them, who are they? They are all Ragatmikas.
No, I mean, that's what I meant. So apart from them, when this line is given, if a devotee covets such a position, so what I mean is apart from them, what you have mentioned.
But why apart from them? Who apart from them, you are asking? That so many names known to us, all the eternal associates of Krishna from Vrindavan, they are all Ragatmikas. Now Krishna has so many friends. Krishna has so many girlfriends, all of them. Which other name you want?
No, I mean like after that era, after the Vrindavan era, in the present time.
How can you say that era? That is eternal, right?
I know it is eternal, but what I mean is when the statement is given, if a devotee covets such a position, so what I mean is apart from them, apart from the gopis, apart from all of them.
Okay, after Krishna descended to the planet, all the acharyas who have come, they came after Krishna or not?
What I mean, the acharyas and
So,
everything.
so then Roop Manjari and all of them, who are they?
Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Of course,
So we would
Bhakti-siddhanta Thakur his name is Bhakti-siddhanta in this particular body, right? But eternally is an associate of Krishna, he's a Manjari.
so it would be fair to say Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is Ragatmika Bhakta.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, that's what I asked. Yeah.
Ragatmika, right? Because he's eternal associate of Krishna. So it's Ragatmika. Okay.
Prabhuji, a question. Can I
Priyatama
ask?
Mataji, you did not complete, isn't it?
completed Prabhuji.
Huh?
I guess we'll complete it. I guess when I'll read more, I'll be able to understand.
So first all these simple terms should be clear. Sadhaka means practicing. Siddha means perfect. Someone at the level of prema is perfect. Isn't it? Before prema, because sadhaka. Isn't it? When you're talking ragatmika, we're not talking about someone who's practicing. Ragatmika means someone who is practiced already achieved perfection. Isn't it? And is eternally now in Golok Dham with Krishna. That's Ragatmika. Or is on planet Earth, but also has come to know what is his or her Swarupa in the spiritual world. So that's Ragatmika. Okay.
Yes, clear. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhuji. Can I ask a question? Quick one, Prabhuji. The question which Mataji asked, Madhumiti Mataji asked about, and is that been written, what you said, that in some book or some reference somewhere, Prabhuji? That like we can see that, okay, here is the reference for that, that we call them that
What?
they are on Bhakti Mars,
Which
like
reference?
like what you just explained, that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was
No,
those type
okay,
of
come
things. It's
on.
been written somewhere, Prabhuji?
Come on. What is the definition given here of Ragatmika? That's someone who is an eternal associate of Krishna. That's Ragatmika, right?
Correct.
Isn't it? So is Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur not an eternal associate of Krishna?
So that's what I'm saying. It is, if we understand that it is there, but someone has written after that or no? That's what my question is.
Prabhu, you see, so many eternal associates of Krishna have come and gone. Will you find a book where everyone's name will be mentioned and then written, they are all Ragatmikas?
So that means it's not been written, but it's understandable.
It's not, why it's not written? We know that Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur has mentioned he is so and so Manjari in the spiritual world. Without being a Ragatmika, how can you be a Manjari in the spiritual world? Is it possible?
Mm-hmm. No, that's the point, Prabhuji. I got it.
Not possible, na?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Correct. So
Correct.
now you will not find a book, no, where all the Ragatmikas Bhaktas name is mentioned. Is it literally possible? Krishna has infinite associates.
Not all, but we know that these are our
So you write a book, no?
acharyas.
You write a book, the names of
Bless.
Ragatmika Bhaktas we know. And then people will read that book and come to know these are the Ragatmika Bhaktas.
Okay, Prabhuji, bless me, then I will do that. Maybe in the future.
You see, there is a particular definition. Now you know that definition. Then you know from other places which you have, books you have read, that these are pure devotees of Krishna. And then you know the definition of Ragatmika Bhakta. Now use your little intelligence and this is an example,
Makes sense, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, Srila
right?
Prabhupada will also be considered as Ragatmika Bhakta.
Of course, why not? Right? How many of you sitting in this class have a doubt that Prabhupada is Krishna's eternal associate?
No doubts.
No doubt. Then why is he not Ragatmika? He is, right? Correct? So simple. Those who are, because it's a new term for you, maybe it's not making sense to you or you are taking time to digest. Whom we call devotees at the level of prema. Those who have achieved perfection, right? Correct? Isn't it? So simple definition. Those devotees who are at the level of prema and are in Golokdham, they are Ragatmikas. Simple. Simple. Just a new term to add to your dictionary. Isn't it? Fine. Now, those who follow in their footsteps are called Raga Nugas. Now, someone is an eternal associate of Krishna in not Golokdham, but in Vaikuntha, where Krishna is in his Vishnu feature. All right. Is that devotee also at the level of prema?
Prema is only in Goloka, right?
Yeah, prema is there, Prabhu, but the rasa is different.
Okay, very good.
Yes, sorry,
prema there or not?
there should be prema, but it will be an Aishwarya Bhav.
Very good. Okay, thank you. So anyone who is in spiritual planets, all are prema, having on the stage of prema. But the type of prema is different in Vaikuntha, right? Okay, but in Goloka it's different. Without being a premi bhakta, you cannot be an resident of the spiritual world in the planets here, isn't it? But that prema is different and the Golok prema is different. The mood is different. Fine. Understood? Hmm. So Prem is found both in Vaikuntha, Prem is found both also in Goloka. But is Rag Bhakti available in Vaikuntha, in the abode of Lord Vishnu?
Yes.
No.
No.
Spontaneous.
That Rag is only available in Golok. That is the speciality of Golok Vrindavan. Find that flavor of Rag is not elsewhere. That's only in Vrindavan. Okay? Not elsewhere. So that's why Rūpa Gosvāmī is teaching us this subject. Because our goal is Vrindavan. So we need to understand how Vrindavan Bhakti is different from Bhakti and Vaikuntha. You're understanding now? Right? Okay. Is it making sense?
So, Prabhuji, Raganuga Bhaktas are all like from Goloka, in short.
Why again making mistake? Not Raganugas, Ragatmikas.
Ragatmika Bhaktas are from
Are-
Goloka.
Correct. Raganugas are those who are still practicing. Right?
Practice.
Ragatmikas are from Golok.
So then we are practicing, we are following Ragatmika Bhaktas. So we are
We are
Raganuga.
not yet. We are still in Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti. Right? In Bhakti-sastri course, we have come to chapter 15. In reality, we are still in chapter 2, 3, something there.
So
Isn't
sad.
it? In reality, we are still in lower stages. Isn't it? Only in study, we have come to chapter 15. Correct? Okay. Yes, Sudeep Prabhu.
Prabhuji, as per this definition of Ragatmika, so you said it only applies to devotees in Vrindavan. So I was wondering, this definition is not applicable for devotees who are from, say, places like Dwaraka, Jagannath Puri. It doesn't apply, right? Or Lord
Very good
Ramachandra.
question. Very good question. We'll discuss further, then you will understand actually. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I will understand. You'll understand when I discuss. So it's clear, right? Now, confusion is gone. The cloud of confusion is dispelled. Next. So now what is Raga Nuga Bhakti? We understood Ragatmika. Now what is Raga Nuga? You see here in the next two verses, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami makes it very clear. Lobhe Vrajavasira Bhave Kare Anugati Shastra Yukti Nahi Mane Raga Nugara Prakriti. If one follows in the footsteps of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, okay, follows in the footsteps of inhabitants of Vrindavan, these inhabitants of Vrindavan will be known as Ragatmikas, right? Out of such transcendental covetousness, he does not care for the injunctions or reasonings of Shastra. That is the way of spontaneous love. Understood? Now, one of the injunctions of the scripture is, if you want good health, wake up in Brahma Muhurta or little before Brahma Muhurta, take bath and then do worship Krishna. Correct? Isn't it? But the devotee may get up at 12 a.m. also. Take a bath and start chanting the holy names. You ask, why did you get up so early? Today I felt like chanting Krishna now so early, so I got up. In that way, that devotee will not care for time, place, circumstance. The calling to perform devotional service is so strong. And don't think because we also one day did something like that, we are now Raganugas. This is that devotee's constant nature. Getting it? Spontaneous. Okay? Spontaneous. Without any, because the heart is full of such strong emotions to serve Krishna in various ways. So that devotee is always engaged. Next. Devotional service and spontaneous love is vividly expressed and manifested by the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Devotional service that accords with their devotional service is called Raganuga Bhakti, or devotional service following in the wake of spontaneous loving service. So Virajantim Abhivyaktam Varajvasi Janadishu Ragatmikam Anushrita Yasa Raganugochate. All right, so this is the definition. In this material world, also the word rag is used for passion or attachment. So, in the sense of what we're discussing, here rag means that special deep attachment for Lord Shri Krishna. So much so that one is so absorbed in thinking of Krishna, one cannot think of anything else. Naturally. The thought of Krishna does not leave the mind. That's rag. Fine. Absorption, intense absorption. Understood? Let's read now from what? Bhakti-vedanta protect. Yes. This paragraph. Yes, Madhumati.
Hare Krishna. Sri Rūpa Gosvāmī has defined Raganuga Bhakti as spontaneous attraction for something while completely absorbed in thoughts of it, with an intense desire of love. Devotional service executed with such feelings of spontaneous love is called Raganuga Bhakti. Devotional service under the heading of Raganuga can be further divided into two categories. One category is called sensual attraction and the other is called relationship. In this connection, there is a statement by Narad Muni to Yudhishthir in the 7th canto, 1st chapter, verse 30 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Narada says, "My dear king, there are many devotees who first become attracted to the personality of Godhead for the purposes of sense gratification, from being envious of him, out of fear of him, or from desiring to associate affectionately with him. Ultimately, these attractions become freed from all material." Can you scroll up, please? From all material contamination, and gradually the worshipper develops spiritual love and achieves that ultimate goal of life desired by pure devotees. Hare Krishna.
Yes. So here Prabhupada is saying that Rupa Goswami has defined Raganuga Bhakti as spontaneous attraction to something while continuously absorbed in thoughts of it. Devotional service executed with such feelings of spontaneous love is called Raganuga Bhakti. It can be further divided into two categories. What are two categories? One is sensual attraction, the other is called relationship. Now you see, this is a problem with English language. When you translate, you cannot exactly translate the words. So when here says sensual attraction, then it may sound as some kind of material sensual attraction, right? But how is it possible? Isn't it? So the real word in Sanskrit for this is Kama Rūpa, Kama Rūpa. Okay, Kama Rūpa. And the next is Sambandha Rūpa. So there are two types of Raganuga Bhaktis. There are two types of Ragatmika Bhaktis. First is called Kama Rūpa and the other is called Sambandha Rūpa. Rupa Goswami is categorizing that in the spiritual world, in Golok Dham, Krishna has eternal associates who are Ragatmikas, and those Ragatmikas can be divided in two categories. One is called Kama Rupa and the other is called Sambandha Rupa. Okay? Fine. Kama Rupa means, let me first give example. Kama Rupa means gopis. Which gopis? Who desire Krishna as their lover. That is Kama Rupa. The word Kam here does not mean the material lust. The word Kam means desire. So it can also mean spiritual desire. Isn't it? We should know in spiritual world, Prem and Kam has same connotation. Because in spiritual world, that Kam does not exist which exists in material world. So in spiritual world, Kam and Prem are synonyms. In material world, Kam and Prem are also synonyms. But actually, in material sense, isn't it? Like, for example, someone may say, I love you. But actually, it's like, I lust after you. So here also, love and lust mean the same. But for us who understand what is spiritual love and what is material lust, then for us, okay, lust means lust and love means spiritual love. But in spiritual world, the word lust and love, they mean the same. Right? So Kama Rupa is translated here as sensual attraction. Sambandha Rupa is translated here as relationship. Understood? Understood? Fine. Example of Kama Rupa is, I told you, gopis of Vrindavan who desire to be Krishna's lover. Sambandha Rupa, Krishna's parents like Nand Baba, Mother Yashoda. Krishna's friends like Sudama, Sridhama. Sambandha Rupa. So basically now we have two categories. If you are in Madhurya Rasa, in Golokdham, it's Kama Rupa. If you are in Vatsalya Rasa or Sakhya Rasa, in Golokdham, then it is Sambandha Rupa. Understood? Now if Ragatmika Bhakti is of two types, Raganuga Bhakti will also be of two types. One following in the footsteps of Kama Rupa, another one following in the footsteps of Sambandha Rupa. Understood? So that Raganuga Bhakti, which is done following in the footsteps of Kama Rupa, is known as Kamanuga Bhakti. Kama Nuga.
Prabhuji, please repeat it.
Raganuga Bhakti done in following in the footsteps of Kama Rupa Ragatmika Bhakta is called Kamanuga Bhakti. Right? If you don't understand, just hear this line again and again. Later you'll understand. And Raganuga Bhaktas doing Bhakti following in the footsteps of Sambandha Rupa Ragatmika Bhaktis are known as Sambandhanuga Bhaktas. Simple. Terms have changed. Kama Rupa, Kamanuga. Sambandha Rupa, Sambandhanuga. Kama Rupa is perfect. Kamanuga is practicing. Sambandha Rupa is perfect. Sambandhanuga is practicing. Understood? Right? Okay. Any questions on this?
Prabhuji, it's called Sambandhanuga. Sambandhanuga.
Sambandhanuga.
Prabhuji, where is the Sanskrit word? It's written in the verse.
Yeah, it's not given by Prabhupada no, here. Prabhupada translates only in English, sensual attraction, relationship. But then you find these terms in the English, sorry, the Sanskrit version of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. Understood? Now here, Rūpa Gosvāmī is quoting a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 1st chapter, verse number 30, which is telling us how different types of devotees are associated with Krishna in different moods. 7th canto, chapter 1, verse number 31. गोप्यः कामाद् भयात् कंसो द्वेषात् चेत्यादयो नृपः सम्बन्धात् विष्णयः स्नेहात् यूयं भक्त्या वयं विभो. Please read. Come on, translation. Sujata Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport. Different retranslation Prabhuji. My dear King Yudhishthira, the gopis by their lusty desires, Kamsa by his fear, Sisupala and other kings by envy, the Yadus by their familial relationship with Krishna, you Pandavas by your great affection for Krishna, and we the general devotees by our devotional service have obtained the mercy of Krishna.
Yes. So, in this verse, now read the translation once again. Then I'll ask a question. Sujata
My dear
Mataji,
King,
read.
my dear King Yudhishthira, the gopis by their lusty desires, Kamsa by his fear, Sisupala and other kings by envy, the Yadus by their familial relationship with Krishna, you Pandavas by your great affection for Krishna, and we, the general devotees, by our devotional service, have obtained the mercy of Krishna.
Yes. So now these different personalities are mentioned. First is the gopis by lusty desires. Sorry, excuse me. So these gopis by lusty desires, they are examples of
Sensual attraction.
Kama
Kama
Ruga, Kama
Kam,
Ruga.
Kama,
Rūpa Ragatmika.
Kama, Rūpa, Ragatmika bhaktas. Right? Okay. Now Kansa also got attracted to Krishna, but out of fear. Bhayat Kansa, Kansa by fear. Shishupal by envy. So will Kansa and Shishupal also considered as devotees or Ragatmika devotees or anything like that? They achieve perfection. So they achieve same perfection?
No.
No.
No. So will they be considered devotees also? No. Why they will not be considered devotees?
No love for Krishna.
Okay. So what is that verse which tells us about devotional service which we studied in the beginning of the book?
Favorable, Prabhu.
Anukule.
Anupulena. So they are not Anupul. So how can they be devotees, right? Pure devotees, rejected. So they got, but they obtained the mercy of Krishna. So they obtained the same mercy. They cannot obtain the same mercy. What mercy they obtained? They merge into the
Brahmajyoti.
form of the Lord. They got impersonal liberation. That mercy they got, isn't it? Correct. Now next, the Yadus by their familial relationship. The Yadus by their familial relationship. Here the Yadus refers to uh, the different members from Dwarka, right? By their familial relationship. So will we call them as Sambandha Rūpa?
Yes.
Yes.
Why? Because they
Because
have relationship with Krishna.
yeah, familiar.
And but where are they from?
Okay. Dwarka.
So
Okay. That is
Sambandha
the
Rūpa?
question.
Sambandha Rūpa? No. Why? Because they are from Dwarka. Isn't
They
it?
are what, Prabhuji?
From Dwarka.
Hmm.
So Vasudeva Devaki from Dwarka or Mathura. Cannot be called. What about the Pandavas?
Pandavas, because they were very attached to Krishna, right? Blind faith.
Dasya. No, Sakya.
Sakhya.
Sakya Rasa.
Okay, Sakya Rasa, fine. But Sakya Rasa of Sambandha Rupa category.
Sambandh, yes.
Yes,
Sambandha.
Prabhuji.
There was relation also, right?
From
Father's
Vrindavan.
side. Father's side.
From Mother Kunti.
No. But from Vrindavan.
Yeah.
No, not from Vrindavan.
So Sambandha Rupa Nagatmika Bhaktas? Yes, no.
No.
Okay. Then we, the general devotees. So Narad Muni is calling himself as general devotee because here he is referring to himself and others. We, the general devotees, have obtained the mercy of Krishna by our devotional service. So here Narad Muni is talking about Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti. Narad Muni is an example of someone who have achieved prema through Vidhi Marg. Got it? That's why you remember the last verse of Nectar of Instruction, that great personalities like Narada, the four Kumaras cannot also obtain a place in Radha Kund. Why? Are they not Premi Bhaktas? They are Premi Bhaktas. But they are Premi Bhaktas from which path? The path of Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti, not Raga Nuga Sadhan Bhakti. Understood? Okay.
So Prabhuji, when they're on the path of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, one does not progress to the next step.
Which next stage?
I mean, I remember this you had mentioned about Narad Muni and the four Kumaras.
Which next stage?
I mean,
Those who are
after
in Vaidhi
Vaidhi
Sadhan
Sadhana
Bhakti,
Bhakti.
through Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti also they can come to the stage of bhav. And through that also they can come to the stage of prem. But the flavor will be different.
Okay. So then the ones like for Narad Muni and the four Kumaras, what is their mode, Prabhuji, of service when they're serving Lord
Das
Krishna?
Seva.
That's it. Thank you.
There's a lot of awe and reverence. Understood?
Yes, yes, thank you.
I'll show a diagram. Will make more sense. See, consider that there are two paths. Okay. One is called Vidhi Marg. Marg means path. And the other is called Raga Marg. Okay. Understood?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.
Now, on the Vidhi Marg, one will do Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti. And through that Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti, there will be different stages of development. And one will come to later on by the process of development to the stage of Bhava and also to the stage of Prem. Okay.
Yes.
On the Raga Marga, there is Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti, which will eventually develop into Raga Nuga Sadhan Bhakti, which will lead to another type of bhav, which will lead to another type of prem. Understood?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Now, this kind of prema will allow you to enter into
Golok.
Golok with Krishna. This type of prema will allow you to enter into Vaikuntha with Lord Vishnu, Lord Narsimhadev, Lord Varahadev, Lord Ramachandra, or in Dwarka, in Mathura. Understood?
Yes, much better now. Thank you.
So Narad Muni is a Premi Bhakta, but from which path? From this path. Okay. Understood, no?
Yes, Prabhuji. It's
Now,
clear now.
they are devotees at this level of prema, and there are of two types, because they are called ragatmikas. One is Kama Rupa, and there is Sambandha Rupa. Understood?
Yes.
So if I tell Rūpa Manjari, where? Which one? From here. Rūpa
Kamaru.
Manjari.
Raga, Marga, and
Very good.
Kama.
Kama Rupa, right? Isn't it? Nan Baba.
Sambandha Rupa Raga.
Isn't it? Bhim.
Prema and Vaidhi.
Narad Muni. Prema and Vaidhi.
Prema.
Vaidhi.
Okay.
Pandavas also will be in Vaidhi.
Then you can say, because they are attracted to Krishna's form, their Vaidhi is little different from the Vaidhi of those who go to Vaikuntha attracted to Vishnu's form. Isn't it? There'll be varieties of Vaidhi also. No, one type of Vaidhi leading to Vishnu's association, Vaikuntha, another type of Vaidhi leading to or Ramchandra's association, another type of Vaidhi leading to Krishna's association in Dwarka. Understand? But those are different types of Vaidhi, sadhana bhaktis. Is it making sense?
Yes.
Prabhuji, I have a little confusion.
Anyway, that will always remain. Yes.
So we are doing Vaidhi, Sadhana Bhakti, and Srila Prabhupada is Raganuga Bhakta, and we are
Again, wrong terminologies. Srila Prabhupada is Ragatmika.
Ragatmika Bhakta. Srila Prabhupada is Ragatmika Bhakta, and we are followers of Srila Prabhupada, but we are still not Raganugas.
Why you will be? Because on this path, Ragmar, you are at a lower stage, which is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti.
Okay.
Right? Now, if you advance to the higher stage, then you will also become Raganuga sadhana bhakta.
So the good thing is we are on the right hand side, Raga Marga, but but then we are in Vaidhi sadhana. Okay.
Correct. Understood?
That is why the route that we follow will lead us to Goloka.
Yes. Will take us to Goloka if we make advancements. Right? If we make advancement.
Prabhuji, some positive all the time. It's like, where are we? We don't stand anything, anywhere.
Why you don't stand anywhere? Let's not underestimate those who are Prema Bhaktas on the level of Vitimar or who are going to Vaikuntha. Right? We should have utmost respect for anyone who's in spiritual world. Our reality is we are still in material ignorance so much. Right? We are trying to understand the path now. So this is the path. For us, at present, if we consider our level of Krishna consciousness, we are struggling to be a good practitioner at Vidhi level only. Forget Raga. Raga is very advanced stage. There are 9 stages of bhakti, right? Shraddha, sadhu sanga, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti, nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhav, prem. So we are at the stage of bhajan kriya if we have taken initiation. If you have not taken initiation, you are at the stage of sadhu sanga. If you have taken initiation, you are at the stage of bhajan kriya. After bhajan kriya, there comes a long period of anartha nivritti. This is the longest stage in the life of a practitioner, anartha nivritti. This may take 10 years, 20 years, 40 years, 2 lifetimes, 10 lifetimes. Right? Then that person comes to the stage of nishtha. After nishtha, ruchi. From ruchi, slowly, rag becomes developed. Then asakti, then bhav, then prema. Understood? So we discussed this all. That's why I'm telling all of you, you should join in the course Madhurya Kadambini. Because there we will come to know where we are in those stages, technically, and how to go to the next, and how to go to the next, how to go to the next. Understood? So this is clear? The diagram makes more easy to understand. Fine. Let's read now further. Yes, Prabhu. Sukhi Prabhu, read.
The gopis may be considered to be examples of spontaneous love and sensual attraction. The gopis are young girls and Krishna is a young boy. Superficially, it seems that the gopis are attracted to Krishna on grounds of sex. Similarly, King Kamsa was attracted to Krishna because of fear. Kamsa was always fearful of Krishna because it had been foretold that his sister's son, Krishna, would kill him. Shishupala was also always envious of Krishna, and the descendants of King Yadu, due to their family relationship with Krishna, were always thinking of him as one of their members.
Yes, understood, right?
Sorry, Prabhu, I just missed one. All of these different kinds of devotees have a spontaneous attraction for Krishna in different categories, and they achieve the same desired goal of life.
Now, when Prabhupada is saying this, he's just translating verbatim. Actually, they are not devotees. Some of them are devotees, some are not. Right? Next. Dialogue.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandapana. The attraction of the gopis for Krishna and the affection of the members of the Yadu dynasty are both accepted as spontaneous or raganuga. The attraction of Kamsa to Krishna in fear and the attraction of Shishupal in envy are not accepted as devotional service. However, because their attitudes are not favorable, devotional service should be executed only in a favorable frame of mind. Therefore, according to Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī, such attractions are not considered to be in devotional service. Again, he analyzes the affection of the Yadus. If it is on the platform of friendship, then it is spontaneous love. But if it is on the platform of regulative principle, then it is not. And only when affection comes to the platform of spontaneous love, it is counted in the category of pure devotional service. Hare Krishna.
So here Prabhupada is saying, the affection of the members of the Yadu dynasty are both accepted as spontaneous, and later he says, but if it is on the platform of regulatory principles, then it is not. Which means we understand that those who are Yadavas or members in Yadu dynasty, depending on whether they are in Vrindavan Bhav, they have that spontaneous attraction for Krishna, and then they'll be called Ragatmikas. If they don't have that Bhav, then they are not called Ragatmikas. Right? Okay. Main thing is, if they have that mood, then they are Ragatmikas. Next. Now there's explanation. Sarita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. There may be some difficulty in understanding that both the gopis and Kamsa achieved the same goal. So this point should be clearly understood because the attitudes of Kamsa and Shishupala were different from that of the gopis. Although in all these cases, the focus is on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and all of the devotees are elevated to the spiritual world, there is still a distinction between these two classes of souls. In the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the absolute truth is one and that he is manifested as impersonal Brahman, Paramatma, Super Soul, and Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here is a spiritual distinction. Although Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are the same and one absolute truth, devotees like Kamsa or Shishupala could attain only to the Brahman effulgence. They could not have realization of Paramatma or Bhagavan. That is the distinction. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Okay. Next paragraph. Ashwinatha.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. An analogy can be given with the sun globe and the sunshine. To remain in the sunshine does not mean one has gone to the sun globe. The temperature of the sun globe is different from the temperature of the sunshine. One who has gone through the sunshine in jet planes or in spaceships has not necessarily gone to the sun globe. Although the sunshine and the sun globe are actually one and the same, still there is a distinction, for one is in the energy and one is the energetic source. The Absolute Truth and his bodily effulgence are in the same way simultaneously one and different. Kamsa and Shishupal attained to the Absolute Truth, but they were not allowed to enter into the Golok Vrindavan abode. Impersonalists and the enemies of the Lord are, because of the attraction to God, allowed to enter into his kingdom, but they are not allowed to enter into Vaikuntha planets or the Golok Vrindavan planet of the Supreme Lord. To enter the kingdom and to enter the king's palace are not the same thing. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, not the same thing. Okay. Next. Someone please read this. Next paragraph. Yeah, look, go into it.
Sorry.
You
Hare
have to
Krishna.
unmute yourself.
Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī is trying here to describe the different achievements of the impersonalists and the personalists. Generally, those who are impersonalists and are inimical to the Supreme Personality of Godhead get entrance only into the impersonal Brahman, when and if they reach spiritual perfection. The impersonalist philosophers are in one sense like the enemies of the Lord, because the out and out enemies of the Lord and the impersonalists are both allowed to enter only into the impersonal effulgence of the Brahma Jyoti. So it is to be understood that they are of similar classification. And actually the impersonalists are enemies of God because they cannot tolerate the unparalleled opulence of the Lord. They try always to place themselves on the same level with the Lord. That is due to their envious attitude. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has proclaimed the impersonalists to be offenders of the Lord. The Lord is so kind, however, that even though they are his enemies, they are still allowed to. Could you scroll a little?
As for Prabhu.
Allowed to enter the spiritual kingdom and remain in the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, undifferentiated light of the Absolute. Missed it actually.
Next paragraph. Madhumati Mataji.
Sometimes an impersonalist may gradually elevate himself to the personal conception of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita confirms this. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me. By such surrender, an impersonalist can be elevated to the Vaikuntha Loka, spiritual planet, where, as a surrendered soul, he attains bodily feature like those of the Lord. In the Brahma Purana, it is stated, those who have achieved liberation from material contamination and those who are demons are killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead become absorbed in the Brahman concept of life and reside in the spiritual sky of Brahma Jyoti. That spiritual sky is far beyond the material sky, and it is confirmed also in Bhagavad Gita that beyond this material sky, there is another eternal sky. The enemies and Prabhuji, scroll up, please. The enemies and the impersonalist may be allowed to enter into the Brahman effulgence, but the devotees of Krishna are promoted all the way to the spiritual planets. Because the pure devotees have developed their spontaneous love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are allowed to enter into the spiritual planets to enjoy spiritual bliss in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Next paragraph. Jagataya Vishakha.
In the 10th canto, 87th chapter, verse 23 of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Vedas personified address the Lord in this way. My dear Lord, yogis meditate upon your localized feature and thus they achieve the spiritual perfection of being merged in the impersonal Brahma Jyotir. Persons who treat you as an enemy achieve the same perfection without meditating. Gopis who are embraced by your serpentine hands and who have such lusty attitudes also achieve the same perfection. And as far as we are concerned, being different demigods in charge of the different parts of the Vedic knowledge, we are always following in the footsteps of the gopis. Thus, we hope to attain the same perfection. By the same perfection, we must always remember the example of the sun and the sunshine. Those who are impersonalists can merge into the sunshine like Brahma Jyotir, whereas those who are in love with the Supreme Person enter into the supreme abode of the Lord, Goloka Vrindavana.
Yes. Next, Munish Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The lusty attitude of the gopis does not refer to any sort of sex indulgence. Śrīla Rūpa Gosvāmī explains that this lusty desire refers to the devotee's particular attitude of the association with Krishna. Every devotee in this perfectional stage has a spontaneous attraction of the Lord to the Lord. This attraction is sometimes called the lusty desire of the Lord. The lust is the devotee's excessive desire to serve the Lord in a particular capacity. Such a desire may seem to be desire for enjoying the Lord, but actually the endeavor is to serve the Lord in that capacity. For example, a devotee may be desiring to associate with the personality of Godhead as his cowherd friend. He will want to serve the Lord by assisting him in controlling the cows in pasturating ground. This may appear to be desire to enjoy the company of the Lord, but actually it is spontaneous love, serving him by assisting in managing the transcendental cows.
Hmm.
Should I continue, Prabhuji?
Okay. Someone else can.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Priyatama Karanjanaji.
Hare Krishna. Sensual attraction. This extreme desire to serve the Lord is manifest in the transcendental land of Braj, and it is specifically manifested among the gopis. The gopis' love for Krishna is so elevated that for our understanding it is sometimes explained as being lusty desire. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Krishnadas, has explained the distinction between lusty desire and the service attitude in this statement. Lusty desire refers to the desire to gratify one's personal senses. and transcendental desire refers to the desire for serving the senses of the Lord. In the material world, there is no such thing as lovers wanting to please the senses of his beloved. Actually, in the material world, everyone wants mainly to gratify his own personal senses. The gopis, however, wanted nothing at all but to gratify the senses of the Lord, and there is no instance of this in the material world. Therefore, the gopis' ecstatic love for Krishna is sometimes described by the scholars as being like the lusty desire of the material world. But actually, this should not be taken as a literal fact. It is simply a way of trying to understand the transcendental situation.
Correct. So Rupa Goswami has used these words for us to relate to the subject matter and understand it. We have no experience of the love of spiritual world. We have only experienced material love, which is actually lust. So Rupa Goswami is using similar terms to give us an inkling, an idea of what it means, what that attraction is, right? But that is pure and this is very impure. So he's used the word lust or kama. Actually, it refers to prema, where you just want to please Krishna, right? Next paragraph. And how the prema of gopis is so pure is being explained now. That even personalities like Uddhav desire it, personalities like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desire it. So how can that be lust? This is pure, completely pure. Yes, Sujata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Great devotees up to the standard of Uddhava are very dear friends of the Lord, and they desire to follow in the footsteps of the gopis. So the gopis' love for Krishna is certainly not material lusty desire. Otherwise, how could Uddhava aspire to follow in their footsteps? Another instance is Lord Chaitanya himself. After accepting the sannyas order of life, he was very, very strict about avoiding association with women. But still, he taught that there is no better method of worshipping Krishna than that conceived by the gopis. Thus, the gopis' method of worshipping the Lord, as if impelled by the lusty desire, was praised very highly even by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This very fact means that although the attraction of the gopis for Krishna appears to be lusty, it is not in the least bit material. Unless one is fully situated in the transcendental position, the relationship of the gopis with Krishna is very difficult to understand. But because it appears to be lust, like ordinary dealings of young boys and girls, Prabhuji, it is sometimes misinterpreted to be like the ordinary sex of this material world. Unfortunately, persons who cannot understand the transcendental nature of the love affairs of the gopis and Krishna take it for granted that Krishna's love affairs with the gopis are mundane transactions, and therefore they sometimes indulge in painting licentious pictures in some modernistic style. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please, last.
On the other hand, the lusty desire of Kubja is described by learned scholars as being almost a lusty desire. Kubja was a hunchbacked woman who also wanted Krishna with great ecstatic love. But her desire for Krishna was almost mundane, and so her love cannot be compared to the love of the gopis. Her loving affection for Krishna is called Kama Praya, or almost like the gopis' love for Krishna.
Correct. So here one example is being given. What is that example of Kubja? You know this pastime that Kubja was a servant of Kamsa. She would she would make sandalwood paste for Kamsa, which he would use personally. So one day, what happened? She happened to see Krishna. She was taking that sandalwood paste for Kamsa, And she thought, why apply it on Kansa? This man, this boy seems to be so beautiful and handsome. Let me apply this paste on him. So she was attracted to Krishna out of lust. Krishna is so beautiful. So is her lust the same as the lust of the gopis of Vrindavan? So Rupa Goswami said no. Why? Because Kubja was attracted to Krishna for her pleasure. The gopis of Vrindavan get attracted to Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. Right? So therefore he has used the word here, kama praya. Kama praya means it looks like calm, it looks like praying, but it is not praying. Kama praya. It looks like praying, but it's not praying. Understood? So is Kubja a Kama, Rūpa, Ragatmika Bhakta? No. Or is Kubja Kamanuga Bhakta? No. Understood? Huh? Very clear, right? Understood. So any question from this chapter? If yes, please ask. If no, then we can move on to the next chapter if you have capacity to digest. Yes, Madhumati Madhuri.
So Prabhuji, Kubja's love will be material lust.
It's not fully material because it is for Krishna. So she definitely got blessings of Krishna. She definitely, but that kind of love will also not take her to Goloka Vrindavan.
Okay. So I was just thinking when like Shishupal and Kamsa, when they were killed by Krishna, so they were liberated, but they were till the Brahma Jyoti. So if they are till the Brahma Jyoti, then they will come down also to the earth, right? They will not go to the spiritual planet. So which means that the enemies or not the well-wisher of Krishna, they make it, if they liberated, they will come down, right? Is that the understanding correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to understand is Srila Prabhupada, he was Ragatmika Bhakta, but he would follow the regulative principles and the injunctions just for us to learn.
Yeah.
Spontaneous love, he didn't have to do all that.
No, he doesn't have to. Just for us to come, to teach as an example, Acharya.
Hare
So
Krishna.
that's why they are on a very high platform, but they come to a lower platform, and that's called compassion. That is called compassion. Isn't it? That you are on such high platform, but you come to a lower platform to help the lower people rise up. If you see someone suffer and you also start suffering, that's not compassion. Isn't it? But when you see someone suffer and then you help that person to come out of that suffering, that's compassion. So material compassion is different from spiritual compassion. There are many good-hearted people in this world. When they see someone suffer, they start crying. But what next? Can you do something? Right? But spiritual compassion is when you see someone start crying, then you help that person. Come on, come out of this ignorance. Sudhir Prabhu.
Prabhuji, two questions, Prabhuji. To the earlier question which I asked regarding the definition of Ragatmita Bhakti, Jagannath Puri and Dwarka, I seem to have got an answer from the Bhagavatam verse which you showed later. So is that a correct understanding? The examples of Pandavas?
Yeah, and yes, correct understanding. And this same subject will be discussed more later also. Right?
Yes, sir. True, and so in this connection, when it comes to the example of Pandavas, so someone who is practicing like with the Vaidhi-sadhana bhakti, one's constitutional position is already it's fixed. So if their rasa with Krishna is Sakhya Bhav, even though they are practicing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, from the example of Pandavas, I understand that they may not be going to Goloka. They may have a different destination.
What if they get a different association on their will? They happen to get association of devotees of different type, then
Okay. So this also brings one more question I had, Prabhu. So the Pandavas, there are devotees in Vrindavan who are in Sakyaras, and there are devotees outside of Vrindavan like Pandavas who are in Sakyaras, but the destinations seem to be different. So it is just based on one characteristic, which is the holy land of Vrindavan, and it's a special thing, and there is no reason for why it's other than this reason. There is no different cause why the destinations are different. Is that proper understanding, Prabhu? There is some special potency in the land of Vrindavan.
yeah, destination will be different.
And the second question is, Prabhu, so since the definition says following in the footsteps of perfected souls from Vrindavan, so when someone attains the stage of Raganuga Bhakti, I feel there is a danger of also imitation sometimes. So I just wanted to understand or know your thoughts, whether when one comes to that stage, is there still a danger of falling down because of trying to imitate?
You can fall down from the stage of bhav, right? That we have already discussed before.
Yes.
So raga is below bhavana. Raganuga sadhana is below bhav.
So the association of devotees and the guidance of Guru is still needed at that stage also.
Why not? That's called Raganuga. Na? Raganuga means following in footsteps. Following in footsteps means guidance.
Even though it says spontaneous, but still it should not be misunderstood that spontaneous.
So let us be very clear. You see, we are at a very lower level and trying to imagine how it will be at such high levels. Isn't it? So let's not start panicking about that stage now. First, let's get purified. Isn't it? Right? Danger is there. Correct. Danger is at every single steps. So that is there. But then as you advance, you will not make such mistakes which you make now, no?
Yes.
So main thing is that that chunk of anartha nivritti.
Yes, bro.
So we should first cross that. Then there are very subtle anarthas which will remain in heart. That will be taken care of later. Let's not panic about or start panicking. Oh, at that stage also there'll be danger. So we have to be very careful. First, let's reach that stage. Fall down is possible till the time we reach prema. Okay. So what precautions have to be taken at the stage of raga? You can't start taking precautions now because we are not at that level. Like when say someone may start imitating, but then Imitate what? You are not at raga level, so what will you imitate? We are at Vaidhi level. So we have to be following the rules and regulations at Vaidhi. When we come to raga, then our rules and regulations will become different. Then we start following them.
Hmm.
Isn't it? Mhm. That's why we should know. That is one very important reason why Prabhupada wanted NOD to be studied in Bhakti-sastri. Because you see, the subject matter of NOD, if you are a newcomer, what will you understand? So he wanted NODP to be studied by mature devotees, like who have practiced Krishna consciousness for some period of time. Then they will begin to understand, okay, make some sense, right? The science, the concepts. And that also first 19 chapters are themselves so difficult. And what about the coming chapters in the next 3 divisions of the book?
Hmm.
So we are at Vaidhi platform, we can practice at Vaidhi platform. Slowly we'll grow and we'll evolve to the other stages. So let's focus more on that now. Maybe after 10, 15 years, we'll together study more about Raga Bhakti and other stages, right? First, we need to clear through these stages of Anartha Nivritti. That's most essential. One more thing we should know, when the consciousness is clouded, no, we cannot understand certain subject matters because intelligence is not able to grasp it because of impurity in the intelligence. So we should leave. That's why I tell devotees, if you are reading Shastra and you don't understand something, don't pursue to understand that subject matter like you understand, like you understood mundane subject matter. Because mundane subject matter is because of exercise of your intelligence. There are some nut bolts here, you tighten them or loosen them and then begin to understand certain something, right? But spiritual subject matter is not understood through that material intelligence. It is understood through purity of consciousness. So if my consciousness is not pure, I can break my head against the wall. I will not understand. Right. Now, what will make me understand? As I practice bhakti, my consciousness starts getting pure, the clouds start disappearing of ignorance. Then once you read it, once you hear it, oh yeah, it makes sense. This is it. Understood?
Yes.
So please study this subject only at theory level, not at practice. What we're discussing here. It is only theory. Let's get the theory clear. Practice is the previous chapters of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Madhvati Krishna.
Prabhuji, in this class or next class, whenever you want to explain, now when I was learning about Ragatmika Bhakta confined to Vrindavan, I was also thinking two Krishnas, one in Vrindavan and one in Dwarka. Has that got something to do with that concept?
Can you come again?
So when we were learning about Ragatmika Bhaktas confined to Vrindavan, not even Dwarka, and then we have two Krishnas, which I've never understood that concept, two Krishnas, one in Vrindavan and one in Dwarka. Is that got something to do with it?
Yeah, we'll discuss more now in next 2 chapters, next 2
Yeah,
chapters.
that's what I mentioned. Yeah, thanks.
It will come. This thing will be also explained. So let that portion come. Manish Rao.
Prabhuji, just would like to know that how we will make ourselves more progress in the line what you have shown us in the diagram, that we are at the right direction, and how we can make inside that our feelings that we want to do this, desire that I want to do this, how we will continuously do the progress in that.
Just be sincere, that's all. As time passes on, you will be moving forward. Sincere devotee means one who wants to make progress. One who wants to make progress will make progress. So we have to be sincere. If you are sincere, you will be making progress. If you are not sincere, then you will either stop or you will have a pause period. But as you are sincere, Krishna may help you then come out of that pause period also. So one has to be always endeavoring, understanding, learning. Be always a student who learns. Then you grow.
Thank you.
It's the third verse of Bhakti-sastri. Utsaha nishaya dharya tat karma pravartana sangatyagat sato vritte shabbir bhakti prasidhyati. By these 6 qualities, devotional service grows. So let's work on developing these 6 qualities. And 6 things which stop. Right? What is that verse? What is that verse? 6 things that diminish bhakti.
Atyahara prayasasya prajalpanya.
Very good. Prayasasya prajalpo niyamagraha janasangasya laulyamcha shabbir bhakti vinashyati. Yeah.
Got it, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
So should we not do Bhakti-sastri again?
Of course.
Yes.
Why you're asking that, Prabhuji?
I think
one
we'll do
time
only
is not
Bhakti
enough.
Shastri.
No, sincerely, one time is not enough. It's too much to sink in and stay.
Yeah. So Bhakti-sastri once again. That's why it's okay. That's why I put all the classes on YouTube, you can always just go to, even if you don't re-enroll for the course, on the YouTube, the playlists are there. Fresh playlists are also there. So find your time and hear again and again and again and again. Right. So then that repeated study and hearing will make all those, at least theoretically, the concepts are very clear. Then we can think of practice, which is next. First theory. This is this, this is this, this is this. Right. All right. No other questions, we'll stop. I'll not start next chapter now. Then we continue on Tuesday. Okay. So I'll be sending the next quiz in the group today. Please do that. Hare Krishna.